Welcome to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. These are casual chats with visiting artists. Creaky barn, bugs, and all. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Conversations from the Barn. This is a very special and somewhat magical evening tonight for many reasons. We have the stage set of this gorgeous fog that has rolled in at 9:30 in the evening. It is pitch dark, new moon, and this fog is covering the farm. Small lights coming from the different buildings. On the very last night of the Everwood season in 2021. And tonight we have with us Sequoia Rhian. You've been here with us all this week, and we're so happy to close the season and have our final conversation with you on this magical night tonight.
I'm excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. It's been great to say the least, and just thank you two for even having this as an opportunity for people to just come and just be.
Thanks for trusting it.
Yes.
You have you've spent almost your entire week in the cottage.
So yeah.
I mean, you've been creating music all week. I love that because we've seen some artists come in here. Con Davidson will always make me laugh because he had the tiniest car and yet he had this incredible, huge music setup.
Oh wow.
In here, but I love that you've chosen to be in the cottage all week. So, what's your setup look like? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I have right away actually. As soon as my family left on Monday, I brought out all my equipment. I have my speakers, my microphone set up, my audio input, and all of that. And I made sure to have it set up right away so that I wouldn't have any lack of time of,
Creation.
Well, I'll set it up eventually. I was like, no, it's getting set up right now. And mainly, I already had some beats and stuff that are already in my folders and stuff that I'm like, I really want to record music to this eventually. And so I was playing some of those. Then I was like, I want to hear something new too. So I text one of my producers and was like, you got anything? And he's like, this might be overkill, but here's all the new things that I've been working on. And it was maybe 50
Wow.
different beats. So I went through all of them and picked out a bunch of my favorites. And I started recording to 3 of them this week. And I am definitely on a love kick right now because, my gosh, literally everything I've written so far is just about love.
No kidding.
And if you were to go back and listen to anything that I have made previously the last year or so, it's a lot of dark sadness and why are we here and trying to process an old relationship, which was pretty bad. So it was a lot of just darkness, and I'm just I'm gonna be in this vein of things and just write dark music and about how sad I am.
This over the last 10 years plus?
This has been maybe last 5.
Last 5.
And
it's been all about love this week.
Yeah.
We had the great pleasure of meeting your beautiful family on Sunday. I'm wondering if that might have anything to do with it.
Very much so. One of the biggest things, and my partner was even saying so she's very much an introvert. I'm extremely an extrovert to the point where I'm I don't know about being isolated and having to just focus on myself. And I actually had a phone call with my therapist while I was here and was like, well, I sent her an email and I was like, if you're free for a call or if you could just answer this question, how do I focus on myself? I
Fascinating.
don't know how. I've always been that person who's always giving and focused on the other person, not even just like relationship, but just in general. And I'm like supposed to focus on me and I can't. I kept trying and it's just like, was it working? So I'm like, what do I do?
So when did this, like what day did you reach out to her?
Yes, so that would have been, what is today? Friday?
Today's
so that would have been
Friday.
Thursday, yeah.
And did she make time for you?
Oh yeah, she called me and was like, let's talk about
Let's
this
dig
and
into
whatever.
it.
Yeah, and we had like a 6-minute conversation, just about what things I can do and making sure that I'm staying, because that's one of the things is like kind of like I want to go home, and not even like I don't like being here, but it's just like I miss my family.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I feel like I sound like a child, because that's not, I mean, I'm able to be independent, but my very first time ever living alone was just like a year ago. I moved into my own studio by myself, and I've been living alone for like a year, and luckily I'm moving in with my partner in a couple weeks. But it's just been, I'm like, yep, now I know that I experienced living alone and I don't like it. And a lot of people have different experiences with it, but I was like, this is my first time ever living alone ever in life. I've always had roommates or something. And so being here alone is, it's necessary. And my friends the night before I came were like, yeah, this is going to be good for you.
So how were the 6 minutes and how did it, so the 6 minutes on Thursday then, so today's Friday. Any advancements or any progress on those 6 minutes?
I think so. It took some whipping. I kind of got yelled at by my partner. She's like, "This is supposed to be time for us to both. It's like you have time to yourself, I have time to myself." And like for her, it's like, yes, time alone. And for me, it's like, okay, let me try this. So, I think the biggest thing was realizing, like my therapist was saying, what are some things that you can do for yourself? And I know that my big things are like getting a massage and getting in a hot tub and like a bath and things like that. And I'm like, I can't do any of those things here. So what are
Sorry, we don't have a hot tub. We really don't have a bathtub either.
So I'm like, what are some other, so we were thinking up other options, and I was like, well, maybe I can write, I can journal, even though that's like one of the things like I don't like. And so we talked about a couple things, and like taking hot showers and whatever things that you really like doing. And one thing, I actually read one of the cards in there that someone left, and they said like it's okay to take time like to rest if you like to sleep and stuff. And like I don't get enough rest. So that's one thing I was just like, wow, I was really tired. So that's one thing I realized too, is I'm always in go mode. Always. And so I kind of felt guilty a little bit to be like, I'm laying down. And then I pulled that card and I was like, okay, thank you.
Permission.
Like, thank you for this, because I felt kind of bad for sleeping. I haven't slept like the whole time. I've actually written some music and stuff, but it was just like, maybe I needed that.
That was from the universe right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so with the starting the music and stuff, it's literally every time, and it's like this thing that, like, I forget how good it feels until it's like that hump of like, okay, just do it, just start. And then I get started and I'm just like, oh my gosh, why am I not recording all the time? Like, it's like this good feeling comes back up again. And one thing I do know about myself though is, so I have this producer named Jay, who also phenomenal songwriter, all of it. And I love just being in the studio with him because like I said, I'm an extrovert and I bounce ideas off of people. So it feels really good to know like that about myself too. I can work in my own element by myself and do things because I've been doing it here and stuff, but knowing that like that's another part of me where like being in the room with someone else, even if
You like to collaborate.
very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. So it just thinking about those moments and being like, he's getting expensive right now, so that's why I haven't been in the studio with him. It's mostly like once I have a finished product, then I'll go and like then have him tweak it a little bit. But I want to get back to those moments where like I could just be there with him and spend hours and just collaborate and work on things. And yeah.
What's your orientation to nature?
My orientation to nature, well, I mean, Sequoia is my first name, so I have a very nature name. Everyone thinks of the tree as the first thing, and I mean, they're majestic and
Very
tall
special.
and huge.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing is just like, okay, I have to be one with nature in that regard. But I think the biggest thing for me, I never realized how much I love the fall until I lived in California and they like don't have fall. And as soon as I like came back the first time I lived there was 2010 to 2011, and I came back and I was every fall I was like I would have like fall parties and like apple cider this and pumpkin this and everything like all and like have live music and friends over and stuff and great. So being here in the fall is like glorious for me because it's my favorite season.
This is your time.
Love it. And I honestly think the new year should start in the fall because that's when like the school
Terrific
years,
idea.
right? That's like when the school years start and it's literally just like, okay, everything's dying and the new life is going to come and it just makes sense. So for me, I think the biggest thing is I love just being, how do I put it? Like the smell, like I just think of like being in the woods and the smell of like campfires and things like that, or just like being out in, I don't know, again, that's my biggest thing is like the fall is, I don't know what it is. And I wasn't even born in the fall. I was born in the winter. So
It sounds like though, still thinking about your gatherings at your place during the fall, it's still a social thing for you.
oh, very much so.
That we are all going to celebrate this together.
Yes.
Yeah, hashtag October New Year. Let's make this a movement, people.
I think we should.
It should be. It definitely, I mean, literally as a kid, that's what you feel like. It's like when you start school and everything, it's like the new year, like everything starts in the fall. But besides that, like the other thing, it's like this weird thing with water where I love water when it's hot. So like
Hot tubs, shower, yeah.
And I've never been to hot springs before, but I feel like that would be up my alley.
You would so love that.
And so I don't know what it is. Like even like when people are like, "Oh, cold shower," I'm like, "Why?
I'm with you on that one.
Why would you ever?"
Yeah.
And so, that's why coast of Florida when I was there, like going at the beach, it was very like the water was warmer than the air because I was there for Christmas. So it was like this water's so nice. And then off the coast of California, it's like, why would anyone ever get in this freezing cold water? It could be the hottest day ever, and I still like this is still too cold.
Can we talk about your craft project?
We can.
So, I mean, this probably won't come out for a month from now, and so ideally you will have gifted your craft project by now.
That's the plan. Hopefully tomorrow morning.
But it was a sweet story, and I happened to watch Your Family Left on Monday morning, and I could tell you were sort of like, all right, here goes the extrovert, or the extrovert is here, and there goes everybody. And it was sort of a It was a sad kind of wave goodbye, and I was like, oh, boy, that was painful to watch. You know, but there was a sweet moment that came out of that farewell.
Yeah, so as me and my partner hugged goodbye, I didn't realize this, but I have dreads, and I looked down, and one of her bobby pins stuck to my hair. And
I think it's so sweet.
It's
She
so
wears bobby
sweet.
pins.
and she had them in, I don't even know, she had her hairstyle a certain way, and she's always adorable. But yeah, so she had a styled a certain way. I hope I didn't mess up the hairstyle by pulling the bobby pin out,
Right.
but she doesn't work on Monday, so it would be fine. But anyway, so yeah, so I noticed this bobby pin, and I was just like, oh, cute. And I sat it next to the bed, and I was like, I have this little sentimental thing. I already know. Have already known, and we both already know, like, we want to marry each other. It's kind of already a thing. But also, she has an obsession with rings, and she probably won't wear this one, I'll be real, but it's the thought that counts. So I was telling Chris that I can probably count on one hand how many times I've handmade something for someone.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, like, I was never that kid who liked art class and paper mache and coloring and drawing. The thing is, I can, like, if I actually want, like, I could pick up a bat and hit a ball and run, and I could, like, anything you, like, say, I can do it. I'm pretty good at things, but if I like mastering things and being into it, So the same with art. It's like, if I want to do it and I'm interested, okay. So that was the thing with that. I was just like, I went on Google, how to make a ring out of a bobby pin. And
There's a YouTube video for that.
And did you find a video?
There was one video where, and they showed the pliers and taking it and bending it into a certain shape, and they showed, like, them putting paint on it and glue and then putting different gems on it and things like that. And I was like, well, I don't got any of that, so I'm gonna make this as basic as possible. And most of her rings are very, like, just solid, like, just different shapes of solid silver rings and things like that. So it was easy to just do something simple. So I just made a spiral and mixed together a bunch of different color paints to make silver. And yeah, I made that for her.
It will be her Everwood souvenir.
Hey, that's the goal. It might be more than a souvenir.
We have a question that we asked to traditionally close our podcast.
Yes.
That we would love to ask you, which is, how have you experienced beauty today?
Oh gosh. There's a lot of different. Okay, so I will say the biggest thing. So I like being inspired by others a lot of the time. So I'm not gonna say who my favorite artist is because he's controversial to an extent, but one of my favorite artists I've been trying to kind of channel a little bit, and then also there's this other artist named Alec who I listened to. He was just showcasing some of his music that he's been working on, and I'm just like, gosh, just seeing the talent of this guy. He's younger than me, and from start to finish doing his own music, not even just like the vocals, but producing as well. And it was just like getting amped up listening to his stuff, and I'm like, yeah. And I was like, part of me was like, hurry up and finish your stuff so I can go do mine. And so listening to that, just seeing, I think, being inspired by others' work, because then all that did is fueled me to like go and work. And I was doing it for a while, to the point where my partner called me, and then I was like, hey, I'm working on music. This is what I was working on. And I played it for her. And all I saw was the biggest smile. I would say that was the moment of beauty today is the smile. And it wasn't just, there was so much to the smile.
Yeah.
It was healing from a conversation that we had yesterday. It was actually listening and enjoying the music that I created, and then also and the lyrics that resonated with her. And then the last part is her being proud that, like, yay, you're actually doing what you're there to do. And that makes me proud that you're
The extrovert
actually
prevailed
doing
this week.
something. So seeing that just like made me feel so good to like know that someone's proud of me, that I, like, and even if like no one ever hears anything I created, just knowing that that moment happened to where like I listened to something beautiful that made me create something beautiful that brought a little spark to someone else. And I don't know, it just felt really, it feels really good. And yeah, and I didn't mention this, I don't know, but like I talked about the setup, but I have the setup facing directly, like I'm looking right out, because I'm like, I want to be able to just look out and see nature, see what's outside. And it was raining yesterday, and just looking out at like the drop. I love the rain when I'm inside.
Yeah.
And so like that, it just feels good, because again, most of my stuff that I've been writing is sad and somber, and to be looking at like kind of a gloomy rainy day and to still write something that's not gloomy.
That tells you we got a light going on.
Oh yeah.
For what it is worth, we are both really proud of you too. For how you have conquered this week and embraced the space and the challenge, and blessed us with your spirit. We're so good. We're so happy to know you.
Oh, and again, thank you for that, first off. And yeah, it's just like I was messaging some of my friends who are artists in different veins of things, and I was just like, because people were like, so what are you up to, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, here's a view, and send them a video, and like, this is what I'm up to. And they're like, what? That looks amazing. And I'm just like, every time someone talks about how amazing it looks, and like, that's such a good opportunity, I'm like, yeah, this is. It's great.
You manifested it. You responded to an invitation.
Yeah.
And you showed up. And it takes a lot of courage. And we're excited to hear...
Okay, I'm excited to hear the music.
Yeah, what is born from this. So stay in touch, would you?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Good.
That's a given. Will do.
Thanks, Sequoia.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for listening to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. Our theme music is provided by John Mark Nelson. Wishing you all good health.